Being February, it is once again Black History Month in America. To get some perspective of what that means in the Big Ten, our Howard Griffith earlier this week gathered Big Ten coaches from all different sports to meet up with him. They had multiple roundtable talks. Here are just some of the things they discussed.
What's Black History Month mean to you guys individually?
To me, it means that they're going to take a month to talk about us, and that's a little offensive. I'm a grandfather and have two kids grown, and that was an everyday thing for me. You know, I'm not a 1 month history lesson. It's an everyday thing. So it's an improvement over, we had a Black History Day at one time. Now we have a Black History Month. So maybe life might be a part of Black history.
The fact that we have Black History Month, I think, is important from the standpoint that it at least acknowledges the fact that there has been a struggle, there continues to be a struggle. It gives us an opportunity to highlight where we've come. The one thing that, because the history has been told from a perspective that's not necessarily accurate, the mainstream population actually really does not know who we are as a people, what we do, how similar we are in some ways and how different we are in others.
I think every day really is Black History Month, but I think it is good that we do have a focus during a certain period of time to be able to educate people. Coming from the education background that I taught at in the elementary schools, it was a time for us to really interject a lot of information about our history and our culture to kids that probably never would have heard the information. I think having a time where you're getting information out, that you're opening up more people's eyes to things that have affected our people, I think is definitely positive. But I think Black History Month to me is, we're living our history, and every single day we are living our history. We're paving the way and are part of that history, and our kids are too. So for us, it's something that we can reflect on, that was our past, but is also something that we're paving that will become our future.
Like she said, the exposure is really important. I mean, I've lived abroad. I lived in China for a year, and where they don't celebrate Black History Month there. And so when I came back, I kind of more celebrated Black History Month more, knowing that other places they don't have that exposure, and so they're just free to think whatever they want to think or whatever is on the media. And opposed to here, where we celebrate Black History Month in schools and even the Big Ten Network and things like this, and people can learn like Black people and their history and the culture and how rich it is and how we got to where we are now, and opposed to just people just thinking whatever they want to think.
I have a 6-year-old nephew, and this is his first time in school full time. But it's actually kind of unique, like, they go through the whole Black History Month, and to hear him come back and talk about Martin Luther King, I mean, my heart melts. The normal, right. But it's actually, it does like generate a conversation. But I think the unique thing to do is how do you drive it forward, or how do you connect it to today, is a great opportunity to take advantage of.
Kevin Warren, named first Black Commissioner of the Big Ten, first Black Commissioner of Power 5. What were your initial thoughts when you heard the news?
Honestly, wow. When we had our head coaches meeting and he walked in, it was a definite moment for me. And his presence and the way he spoke to us, it really resonated, and it was great to see someone of color given that sort of opportunity. So looking forward to working with him.
And I think I've been a little seasoned prior to it because I've had Kevin Anderson to Damon Evans now, and having someone sit in that position, knowing that they're watched and have to do things the right way, that reinforced to me what I needed to do. And I know that Kevin's coming into a big conference, and so this is good because it gives us, and I think the conference, an opportunity to grow in many places besides just on the playing field.
Really proud, to have him become the commissioner. Fortunate, as you said, to have Warden Manuel as an AD in the Big Ten. Thinking just specifically in our sport, to have only one men's soccer coach in the Power 5 just leads the way for me and continues to motivate me from a personal level to continue to keep growing and keep challenging myself.
I immediately said, wow. And the next thing I did was I went to go look at his resume because, look, the Big Ten, in my mind, undoubtedly is the leader of all conferences. They really are. I've had colleagues from other conferences, and they've said, look, when the Big Ten makes a move, when they decide on something, the other conferences follow through. And so he was elected because the university's president saw a need to elect him. So to me, that's progress. That's progress. That's something to really be prideful about. I think the Big Ten continues to show that kind of forethought. They continue to show that kind of leadership.
We can't overlook the fact that it's something that he earned. He deserved it, right? So it's like, yeah, it's one thing to have the opportunity. It's another thing that, I mean, he put the work in, right? The one thing I always say is that when you look at the Big Ten right now, I mean, there's 3 big schools that have African-American ADs, which is really unique. And they're good, not only good athletic schools, they're good academic schools also. So it's a high caliber academically, athletically, and it's been like that historically. But then I always tell people, I say, think about it this way. Jesse Owens went to Ohio State in the 1930s. I mean, just think about that, in the 1930s. And I'm from the South. And in the South, in the 50s and 60s, they was bombing places so it wouldn't be integrated. That's a 30-year gap. It's just simple math. So when you look at what the Big Ten is doing now, it's the trend that's carried on from way back in the day. And I think that's what put a little bit more internal pressure on ourselves, because we know we're in an environment where we can attain the highest level, which is something that's positive for me, and it's something positive that I can, trickle down to my kids.